begin standing, facing the narrow edge of your mat, facing away from the wall. Have the bolster in front of you to start. If you have socks on and you'd like to keep them on, that's okay for this time. And have your feet hip-width apart. Arms and hands hanging naturally by your side. For a few moments. Before we add anything to this, just stand here. Feel your feet connecting to the ground. Feel your bones stacking very organically. Don't be expecting anything. Don't be waiting for anything. Simply consciously stand, which we very rarely do. This is called mountain pose, Tadasana. But don't approach it like a yoga pose. Take the opportunity to simply connect the ground with your feet, with your muscles and bones, with gravity. Very basic physiology. The gentle movements. Allow gentle movements. And at the same time, see how everything is moving toward stillness. You don't have to be lying down. You don't have to be doing anything fancy. You don't have to have your legs up the wall. You don't have to be meditating or breathing any particular way. For the nervous system to change gears, for your mind to slow down, for your breath to be more smooth, for your body to be resting. Stay with this as we go along. Very simple, basic posture. Muscles, bones, joints, ground, gravity, sensation. Without waiting on anything to happen, expecting anything to happen, but simply connecting in. Keep your knees straight and drop the torso down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Hands come to the bolster or to the floor if they can come to the floor easily without bending your knees. If you are bringing your hands to the floor, simply slide the bolster forward a few inches. You might need it again, so keep it close. Feel that your legs are perpendicular to the floor. Feel that the weight is evenly distributed in your feet. Toes gently relaxing, not gripping or grabbing. Front, back, left, right, legs, feet, evenly distributed. Remember, if there's a tendency to lean back or for the hamstring sensation to be very intense, then rather than bending your knees, simply bring the floor closer up to your hands with another bolster or perhaps a rolled up blanket on top of your bolster, or maybe even a chair. Otherwise, upper body passive, arms and hands as weightless as possible, not leaning your weight or pressing into your arms and hands. Good. Now, keeping your hands touching the bolster or the floor, bend your knees all the way, come into a deep squat, malasana, with your heels off the ground. Garrett, why don't you move the bolster just so you can see? So if you can see from this angle, not only is it perfectly okay, Christy's using the bolster, Garrett's not, but both of them have their heels off the floor. The heels are as close to the floor as possible, sinking deeply into your flexed ankles. So you're not pressing your toes down to lift your heels up, and at the same time, you're not dropping your weight back into your heels. There should be, among whatever else you may be feeling, a nice opening in the back of your ankle, heel, and Achilles. If this feels all good and you have your balance, then feel free to drop your head, chin to chest, be a little more passive and round in your spine and upper body. Once again, forget that this is yoga. Forget that this shape is something called malasana. And simply relate with the orientation of your body, with the ground, with gravity, the angle of your bones, combination of joints, movement of breath, balance, sensation, heartbeat, blood flow, tingling, muscles. Developing a relationship with this aspect of being human. While this is a time and space set apart, to restore and relax and become more centered and grounded, it is still a part of your life. This is your body. This is your mind. These are your thoughts. These are your bones. This is the ground you walk on. This is the air you breathe. And we're just slowing it down now to feel it more fully, to experience it more clearly. Now, again, keep your hands touching bolster or floor. Drop your heels down, lift your hips up, extend your knees back to a standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Weight, again, evenly distributed, front, back, left, right. Lighten your arms and hands. Good. Now, keep your hands touching bolster or floor. Lift your head and your gaze. Look up, extend the spine from the front. As a reminder, a spinal extension is kind of like what we think of as a back bend. In other words, the vertebrae are moving toward the front side of the body. Feel that from the back of your neck all the way down to your hips. Good. Keep that, extending the spine. Bring your hands to your hips. Good. Hands to hips, squeeze your elbows together, point them up toward the ceiling. Good. Slowly bend your knees, sink your hips, chair pose, Utkatasana. Sink the weight into your heels to the degree with which you lower your hips down. Extend the spine up. Good. Still an extension of the spine. Heart moves forward, low back moves forward. And as you sink the weight into your heels, your hips slide back and the femur bones adjust into the hip sockets more appropriately. Good. Stand all the way up, arms and hands by your side, resting, close your eyes. A lot has happened since we began, but guess what? Your feet have not moved from that spot. Return to the very simple, very basic connection with yourself as a body, as a mind, as a being, in a body, on planet Earth, in this moment. With breath and heartbeat and 3 dimensions plus however many others. Very simple. Feet on the floor. Arms by your side. Breath coming and going. Blood flow, circulation, nervous system, taking care of itself as we go along. Good. Legs and feet together now. This is simply another alignment option in Tadasana, mountain pose. If you feel comfortable and balanced, have your eyes closed here. Notice the difference, but the same constituent parts. Ground, gravity, muscles, bones, breath, heartbeat, sensation. Simply standing. Nothing fancy. And notice yet again how the interior landscape shifts and changes. Because you're not running around, you're not running from, you're not running toward. You're not worrying, you're not analyzing, you're not planning, you're not expecting. And if there's a conditioned voice that's telling you should be doing those things, let it go. Don't pay it any attention. Good. Keeping your knees straight, drop the torso down, hands to the bolster or the floor. Just because you've been using the bolster this whole time doesn't mean you have to again, and vice versa with the floor. Just see that as much as possible the legs are straight up and down. You can be mostly light in your arms and hands. You're not leaning or pressing. And the knees can be straight. Approach all of the pieces of awareness that I'm pointing to with neutrality. We are mostly conditioned and trained not to just notice something, not to just connect with something for its own sake, not to mention something much more complicated. Than your muscles, your bones, your body, the ground, gravity. But to also do something about it, do something with it, interpret it, engage it, fix it, change it, think about it, worry about it. The only reason you should change something, and what I'm asking you to do right now, is if the intensity of sensation becomes more than mild, moderate, and manageable. In which case, in this case, as I said, either lift the bolster higher up, adjust the weight, maybe with a little more weight in your arms and hands, or come out of the pose altogether. Otherwise, simple connection neutrally with the basic components of this posture and you in it. Good. Now, hands still touching bolster or floor. Legs and feet together. Malasana, round 2. Drop your hips all the way to a deep squat. Heels barely off the floor. And adjust accordingly. Either neutral head and neck or dropping head and neck passively under gravity. And feel free to explore a little bit with how much weight is in the balls of your feet and your toes, or how far you're leaning / reaching forward. But not actively lifting your heels further off the floor. Stay with and enjoy the not needing for once to do anything other than what you're doing right now. And connect in a very simple and basic way with being human. Just being human, doing this thing. Forget that it's yoga. Good. Legs and feet together, hands contacting floor or bolster. Move back into Uttanasana, forward fold. So heels come down, knees extend, hips lift. Good. Very nice. Hands stay contacting. Lift your head and gaze. Extend the spine from the front. Refine it. Repetitions are for refinement, not just for the sake of repeating or mimicking. We're trying to do it exactly the same. Make it better means be more connected with it. More attention to detail. More intentionality. Good. Keep the extension, hands to your hips. Move again into chair pose, Utkatasana, dropping your hips, bending your knees, sinking the weight into your heels. Lift your torso up, extending the spine, moving the vertebrae toward the front side of your body. Good. Nice. Stand all the way up, arms and hands by your side. Once again, a lot has happened in 30 minutes. But notice all that's different. Notice all the new information, all the new communication, all the new nuances in your awareness. And how interiorly things have quieted down. You are in a different space, a different mode. Now, move to the wall and bring your right hand to touch the wall and stand just that single arm's length away from the wall. So I want your arm to be shoulder height. Spread your fingers and see that you're not leaning into your hand. So your elbow is straight, but literally from wrist to shoulder, it fits perfectly in that space between your torso and the wall. Good. Now, gently press your right hand into the wall and act as though you wanted to lean away from the wall to make space in the right shoulder joint, but without the hand losing contact with the wall. So it's very subtle, very gentle. Sometimes this kind of work lowers the blood pressure some. So if you start to feel lightheaded, then simply come out of the pose. If lightheaded then becomes dizzy, then lie down on the floor. But don't let that little warning itself cause anxiety. Good. If it feels appropriate to explore or increase the sensation, feel free to gently drop your head to the left ear toward left shoulder. But continue extending your elbow, gently pressing into the wall and leaning the torso away from the wall, making space in the shoulder joint without the hand losing contact at all. Good. See that your whole palm is touching the wall, all fingers, all knuckles, and the heel of your hand. And notice if there's a particular finger it's not contacting the wall totally, if you bring some intention to that finger, then it probably will change the sensation somewhere up your arm. The whole thing is connected. Good. If you've dropped your head, back up to center, release and switch sides. Turn around, left hand to the wall. First, find the proper height and angle and distance of your body away from the wall, not leaning into the wall, and then subtly lean away from the wall. If and when you feel ready and it feels inviting, feel free to drop your head to the right. But it doesn't have to be all the way. Just a gentle tilt to refine and find the appropriate sensation. Remember also that we're not just going for the feel-goods. Then again, eventually, through this work, what was initially intense and undesired and awkward and uncomfortable does in fact feel good. It gets interpreted differently because of the release, because of the therapeutic benefit. The whole experience changes. What once was bitter medicine becomes sweet nectar. But that also doesn't mean no pain, no gain. So find the finesse in between. And the exact angle, the exact leverage in your hand, fingers, knuckles, wrist, leaning, head and neck, is to find that precise sensation that's good for you in this moment. Good, release, take a little walk. Go to this, so one of you use the wall like before, and one of you not. As you come back, if you need to use the wall to balance for this next one, then follow along with Christy. If not, follow along with Garrett. And it's just if you need it to balance. So it's not better or worse if you use the wall or you don't. It's just for a different accessibility in your foot that if you're mostly focused on balancing, you won't be able to get. So standing behind your bolster, bring your right toes up onto the bolster, particularly to start your big toe. So the top of your toe down on the bolster. The top of your ankle is pressing forward, the top of your foot is pressing forward. So you're literally curling your foot down, toes are curling forward, and you're angling the pressure onto the base knuckle of your big toe of your right foot. You decide and kind of finesse how much the right ankle is pressing open from the top, how much your foot is pressing forward, whether you're engaging your calf muscle from behind to make that happen, or whether the pressure is more straight up and down. That again, as I was just describing, is a matter of intuition and finesse. Not right or wrong, and not just the thing that feels the best. Especially when you're just starting out, you can't always trust that what feels the best is the best. So mild, moderate, manageable is the guideline. Curious neutrality is the approach. Good. Now, move to your middle three toes of your right foot. So middle three toes, targeting the base knuckles of those toes straight down on the bolster. Good. Especially if and when intensity arises and increases, practice neutrality even more. Neutrality doesn't mean grin and bear it and ignore the signals of the body that too much is too much. You can respond when the intensity becomes too much from a neutral place. Just come out of the pose, or just alleviate some of the pressure. Good, move to the pinky toe now. A little more difficult to access for most. But roll to the outside of your ankle to target the base knuckle, the pinky toe on your right foot. Good. So neutral, connecting, and responding is different than mindless reaction. Good. Release. If you need to take a few steps, feel free, but stay close to your mat. Let the toes uncurl on their own. Don't wiggle it, don't shake it. And then eventually switch. Big toe of your left foot. Good. All in appropriate balanced pacing and tone and approach to your body, to your practice, to everything that's occurring interiorly as a result. There may be strong response sometimes, emotionally, energetically, in the circulation, in the nervous system, in your mind. But experiencing that also neutrally is key. Knowing that something important is surfacing, processing, and releasing. Good. Middle three toes. And pinky toe. Good. Release. Take a little walk. As you come back, lie on your back, head on the bolster. If you're working near a wall, then have your head towards the wall. Feet away from the wall, and have a strap close by so that you don't have to move far to get it. With your head on the bolster, knees bent, feet on the floor, arms and hands resting comfortably by your side. This being the first time you've lied down on the floor, the first time the spine has been horizontal with the ground, the first time gravity has been evenly distributing across your structure in this particular way. Feel the effects of the work so far. Feel specific communications. Maybe in your toes, in your ankles, in your knees, in your hips, in your spine, in your breath, in your mind, in your energy field, in your level of connection with yourself, your surroundings, the present moment. Again, still the same body, but upgraded. Still the same mind, nervous system, but upgraded. Same but different from the one you walk around with every day. Same awareness, but upgraded. You have a new baseline, a new foundation to work with. Now, specifically, notice the stability of your hips on the ground. Feel that contact. Feel the asymmetry or the symmetry of the contact, the support of the floor. I want you to keep that contact, that stability. Keep most of your attention there, in fact, as you lift your right leg straight up. First, start with it very neutrally lifting, without compromising your hips on the floor, so not lifting your hips. Then eventually begin extending your right knee a little more strongly. A little more, a little more, a little more, but mindfully. And then, in the same way, begin flexing your right foot, bringing your toes back towards you, even peeling your toes specifically off the ball of your foot. Finally, keeping all of that, knee extending, foot flexing, little by little by little, hinge on your right hip even more, any amount, right leg further to your right shoulder. But all of this subtly and harmoniously working together. Hip, knee, ankle. To whatever degree of extension or flexion is necessary to find the appropriate sensation for right now. Good. Keep your right leg lifting, knee extending, and point your right foot. So heel drops down, toes curl forward. Articulate it intelligently. It's like making a fist with the sole of your foot. Feel each toe knuckle working evenly. The top of your foot opening, the same position in your ankle, foot, and toes as we were just doing standing, but a very different experience, a very different orientation. If cramps come, it's a very positive sign. It's a new part of your body waking up, but feel free to back off a little bit to let it pass and then continue. Good, right foot to the floor. Attention in your hips, and lift your left leg. Little by little by little. Knee straight, left foot flexing. Toes back towards your shin. In anatomical and medical terminology, of course, for those of you in that field, then both movements of the ankle are called flexing. But in this practice, this is what I call flexing, toes back toward your shin, and the other one is pointing. Good. Neutrally experience everything arising, not just sensation, but whatever response is occurring interiorly. Any spontaneous bursts of emotion, energy, thoughts, tendency to wiggle and fidget, tendency to run away. Just be with it neutrally. And otherwise connect in very basically to the ground, gravity, muscles, bones, breath, heartbeat, sensation. Keep all of that. Point your left foot. Good, left foot to the floor. Knees and feet together now. Knees are still bent, feet on the floor. Just bring them together to the midline. Grab your strap and hook it on the ball of your right foot, so closer to your toes, not the arch, the ball. And extend your right leg up. Knee straight, hips again, grounded, balanced, contacting the floor. Keep your right foot passive here. Remember that the hands, forearms, fingers are a part of the work. So even squeeze, thumbs wrapping around your knuckles. And here, rather than pulling your right leg toward your shoulder a lot, pull more or less straight down on the strap to make your right foot flex a little deeper and the sensation change that way, even if it's just a millimeter or two. A little more pressure, a little more intensity at your discretion by pulling on the strap, foot flexing more deeply. and switch. Same thing on the second side. Release, strap to the side. Interlace your fingers either under your head or under the bolster, or palms face up under the outer edges. Extend your legs straight forward, relaxing on the floor, hip width or wider. If that becomes intense in any way in your low back, then either bend your knees again or bring a second bolster or a blanket under your knees. But if it's all good right now, then no blanket or second bolster under your knees. Let your eyes gently close, and finally, turn your head to the right. Just feel into the movement, find the edge, the end to the natural, neutral range of motion. Stop there. Let everything relax passively as you rest and allow all the work that you've done now integrate, make an imprint in your overall system. center. If your fingers are interlaced, switch. And turn your head to the left. Head back to center. Release your arms. Deep breath, deep stretch. And make your way up to seated, hands at heart center. Namaste.